All right, today we're going to take a look at summarizing what we explored on the boards and how we can convert between mixed numbers and improper fractions. Please make sure to remember to put your name and date on today's paper. So a mixed number, as a review, is a number consisting of a whole number and a proper fraction. So for example, 3½ would be considered a mixed number. You could have 4 1/3, right? So anything that has a whole number written with a proper fraction. And then an improper fraction is just a fraction where the numerator, which remember is that top number, is greater than the denominator. Which is the bottom number. Okay, so for example, you could have 3/2. We could have 8/3. We could have 11/5, right? All of those would be examples of improper fractions. We're going to start exploring this through the use of visuals. So when I look at this visual in this first box, I see that there are 2 whole fractions and 1/4, or 2 whole circles and 1/4 of the third circle. So one of the ways that we could describe that picture would be 2 1/4. What we're working on today is then naming it then just with how many fourths there are, so almost how many slices there are. So here we see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So another way we could name this would just be 9/4. Now looking at the second one, we're going to kind of take away the picture being there for us, and we're given the mixed numbers. So we have 1 2/5. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go up and I'm going to shade in 1 full circle, actually do this, and 2/5 of the next circle. So now I have a visual of what 1 2/5 looks like. Or I can then think of this as how many fifths there are. So when I look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we have a total of 7/5. Now, as we think through this, we can always use the visuals or draw out pictures to help show our thinking. So here, for example, if I have to draw out 2 2/3, I would draw out 2 full circles, and then 1/3 of our next one. So what I'd have to do is cut that into thirds, and because I eventually want to rename this as an improper fraction, I'm going to cut all of those into thirds, and I'm going to shade in 2 2/3. So in the end, if we start looking at this, we see that we have 3 pieces here, plus 3 pieces for our second one, and 2 pieces for that third one. So altogether, the number of pieces that we have would be 8, and since they're cut into thirds, it would be 8/3. Eventually, when we get to a place where we're not using the pictures, so another way we can think of this is we start with our denominator, because that tells us how many pieces are in a whole, and then we're going to go kind of clockwise, and we're going to multiply our whole number, or our denominator times the whole number, so in this case 3 times 2, which this part here is really what we did here when we did that 3 plus 3. And then we're going to add the numerator, which this part is what we did here. And that's another way that we can get 8/3, because I would do 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 more is 8. So we ended up with 8/3. So in this next one, when we're converting from a improper fraction to a mixed number, I'm going to draw some circles and I'm going to cut them into eighths. And I'm just going to start with 4. And I'm going to shade in 27 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So in the end, I shaded in 3 full circles and 3/8 of the last circle. So that became our whole number. And then these 3 pieces here became our 3/8. Now, obviously, once again, we don't want to have to always rely on those pictures. So another way to think about that is because each circle had to be cut into those eighths, into those, what we're really doing is we're figuring out how many times 8 fits into 27. So I can go back and do division, and I can think of 27 divided by 8. So 8 can't go into 2, but 8 can go into 27 3 times, which was 24. That left me with 3 left over. And unlike when we, and so then like here, what we're going to do with that remainder, instead of putting remainder 3, we're going to take the remainder and it becomes the numerator of our fraction. And then that 8, which is what we divided by, becomes our denominator. And that's also how we got the 3 3/8. So what I want you to do now is I want you to go ahead and create a couple problems of your own, one with an improper fraction and one with a mixed number. And then anything that you want to remember, go ahead and add that to your notes as well.